Two game-winning field goals in overtime. One of the most exciting nights of SFL action in 7 seasons has concluded. Los Angeles, Louisville, and Santa Fe get the wins tonight. The line is now open. 210-473-8428. This is the SFL Postgame Show. What a game. I feel so bad for Houston. So bad. 9:04, you're on the SFL Postgame Show.
Coach Frank Gooden.
Coach Gooden, I feel, I don't feel as bad for Tallahassee because of the events that Houston has gone through in back-to-back weeks, but certainly a team to feel bad for tonight. As the Pride lose again, and it seems like Tallahassee just hasn't been able to pull out the close ones recently.
I agree. I think that's turning into a motif. Beginning the season, I was hoping we had a team that was built to win the close ones, and actually it's turning out that, more often than not, we're on the wrong end of the close ones, and tonight was another example of that.
Your last 4 losses, 3, 4, 8, and 3 in overtime. I know that you've been around the SFL for a few seasons, but can you remember a season in any league anywhere where losses have been this heartbreaking around the league?
I guess, it happens from time to time in that other league that shall not be named, one that we model ourselves after.
Sure.
It's one of those things. It does happen from time to time. It's happening to us, and it's killing us over here. We're looking for every edge we can get to try to get over this hump. We still have a few games left to try to put a run together if we can get that formula down.
The last couple of games, Dwayne Lane had struggled a bit to get going. Tonight, 26 carries, 166 yards. You have to be thrilled with his sort of bounce back performance. So with him playing such a good game tonight, how did this one end up in a loss for you, in your mind?
I think that I got to give credit to the Sharks and Coach Boyce. I think he put together a really nice game plan to keep drives going, took advantage of what he saw on tape of our defensive scheme, and was able to actually keep drives going against a pretty nice defense. And that's probably the difference. Also, on the defensive end, we just didn't convert enough of the third downs that we need to keep up with them. Yet we still, made it a game, and even in fact we're in a position where we actually, ironically, tried to steal one at home, steal victory from the jaws of defeat there, and almost got it. But West, the old last season West, kind of cropped up. He was aggressive. He tried to win one for us and paid dearly with that interception in overtime.
Yeah, you've lost your last 3 home games. You now take to the road for 3 games, and it is not an easy stretch. Sioux Falls, Oklahoma City, and Santa Fe all on the road. It's not going to be easy for Tallahassee. Obviously, you get a little bit of help with Houston falling so that they sort of stay in your rearview mirror. You're the lone out of the 4 3-4 teams coming in. You're now the lone team at 3-5. So how do you see the last 4 weeks shaken out from Tallahassee's perspective, and what'll be the key heading into your game next week against Sioux Falls? I'm guessing you'll be watching a lot of tape on Sioux Falls and OKC on Thursday.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the key for us will to see if we can't squeeze just a little bit more efficiency out of our offense That's been the story all season. We're actually now putting up points. We just need efficiency. We're putting up points mainly because our defense has been pretty game on turnovers, which was the game from them. So if we can, get a little bit more consistency on stops and defense to add to those turnovers and a little bit more efficiency on third down conversions on offense against these teams, then we'll have a shot. But it is going to be a challenge.
Frank, good luck to you. You don't return home for 28 days for your home finale against Orlando. Best of luck to you as you try to hit the home stretch with a big turnaround.
Oh, yeah. We're going to give it all. We're going to scrap it out. And good game to the Sharks.
All right. Thanks so much, Frank. Frank Gooden, owner and head coach of the Tallahassee Pride. Open line, 210-473-8428. We won't go too long tonight on the post-game show. Obviously, we want to get a sprinkle in of a lot of different teams and players. But a huge night in particular for maybe the man next on the line. 717, you're on the SFL post-game show.
You got Doug Bose.
How did I know? This has got to start feeling a little bit like a season of destiny. Back-to-back overtime wins. Come on. I'm not sure that's ever been done in league history. We'll have to look that up.
I have no idea. All I know is it's back-to-back wins, 3 out of 4 wins. Almost got the Crabs a few weeks ago. And for the first time all season, we are 500.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And obviously, you need it in this tough West Division and in this tough Teal Conference. And this was a huge game for both squads. Arguably, could have been commentated tonight on the main network or another network. But there were moments in this game where it seemed like Park Hee-Chol just did things where it had to make you feel like this is why I made this trade. Does when he makes big plays, does that creep into your mind still 8 weeks into the season?
Yeah. I mean, when he makes big plays, he makes big plays, and it's not like tonight was a big night for him. He just came in clutch when it was big time needed. Mock was completely off with his 4 interceptions, so we needed Hee-Chol more than ever tonight.
This Bobby Treefeather thing is sort of it's come out of nowhere. This guy, I mean, you want to take a guess at how many catches that he had tonight?
Last time I got the stats, I was told it was 18 catches.
Right, 18 for 157, and that is on 20 targets.
Insane.
I mean, that is unbelievable. He had 43 catches in the first 7 games, and he had 18 in this game. His career high. I just want to break down some of his stats. 4 catches in Week 4 against Louisville, 5 in Week 5 against Cleveland, 7 in Week 6 against Baltimore, 10 in Week 7 against Houston, and 18 tonight. The guy for 5 straight weeks has been a bigger and bigger contributor to this offense. And where is that coming from?
I don't know, and I'm not arguing about it. All I know is he's had 3 games in a row now where he's had 100-plus yards of offense. I think teams were looking at the film and seeing Macho Fogg was the main guy, and I think they've been latching on to him, and that's helping Bobby get open. And whatever it takes to win, we'll do it.
This was a big game by your secondary as well. Came away with some key interceptions. I don't know what it's like to have to sit in an owner's box and watch back-to-back overtime games. What is it like?
It's like laying down on one of those gurneys and waiting for the lethal injection. It's absolutely insane. I'm sitting here and I'm freaking out and I'm jumping up and down in my computer chair, which I'll tell you isn't exactly in great shape as it is to begin with. And then we win the game, and that hyena gorilla game had me so excited I jumped up, landed in a chair, and it completely exploded out from underneath me. So I need to go get a new chair this week.
You know,
SFL's crazy.
honestly, I can say that I've been in that position before. I have jumped out of my chair and broken the chair under me. I'm pretty sure I was playing my dad in some sort of football game, and yeah, that was it was a bit of a mess. But you know, Los Angeles is 4-4. Oklahoma City Sioux Falls is a huge game in the division Thursday. Um, you know, who you got between those two, and I know that I'm looking at the schedule, and Los Angeles, Oklahoma City, they still got another game on the schedule in Week 12, and who knows, that could be for the final spot.
Indeed, it could. I mean, when they play this week, Sioux Falls and Oklahoma City, you want Sioux Falls to lose, but at the same time, you want them to win because currently OKC does have the tiebreaker on us, and it just puts them one more game underneath us just in case we can't get that one up on them at the end of the season. But we got to think positive. We got to move forward, and we need to look at next week more importantly when we take on the Santa Fe Gorillas. And I have no idea how they came back tonight.
I don't either.
But they did it. And we have a tough team to prepare for. Ramos Lynn, Kyle Northup, they're doing their thing over there. I have no idea what I can do right now to beat them, but we're going to try and find a way, and we're going to do our best to get it done.
Doug Bose, coach and owner of the Los Angeles Sharks. Good to have you on.
All right, take care.
Open line now, 210-473-8428. Want to hear from everyone across the league as a Sunday night of football in the SFL wraps up. Man, it was a wild game. It was a wild night. I'm just still blown away. 4-4-2. You're on the SFL postgame show.
Hey Cam, this is Ramos Lynn.
Hey, Mr. Lynn, congratulations on the victory. It hasn't come like your others this season, but you got it.
I got it. I mean, mad respect to the Hyena team. Mad respect to Greg Morris, Damon Simeon, Allen, and the rest of the Hyena staff. It was a tough game, and we actually did not deserve to win that game. They had the upper hand all day on us.
What did you see out of the first half from your team, and compared to what you saw out of the second half of your team in relation to how they were playing offensively?
Well, offensively, I saw Nick Tickwick finally made the catches. I saw Matt Wilson looked a little bit better. The offensive line played better in the second half. Calvin Kim played good in the second half as well. There was some play calling that I didn't agree with at the end of the game. We were going on kind of like empty sets when Calvin Kim was having some good runs, but obviously the second half it was better, and it was because also by the defense that was doing some things out there.
The last 3 weeks, it's been tough on Santa Fe. You've escaped with a couple wins, but you lost by 6 in Dallas. You won in Oklahoma City by 5 on a forced fumble from Jimmy Cash. This was actually one of Jimmy Cash's more quiet games. But then here tonight, you win by a field goal in overtime. What do you attribute all of these close games to? Because there for a while, you were beating teams pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe, teams play better. Teams have better scheme against us, and we just find a way to win those games. We're like the Denver Broncos right now of the SFL, because I don't know how, but we managed to win those games either on a shootout or either on our defensive game. Not much of a defensive game, but right now on shootout, we are able to win those games, which is the important thing. But teams are having better offensive game plans against us, better defensive game plans against us, and I believe that's the reason why. But we just keep calm, we keep cool, Matt Wilson keeps cool, and we just have a tremendous talent of players out there.
Yeah, some final stats here. Nick T. Quick ends up with 209 yards. Where did that come from? On 10 catches. Juan Bosco, 8 for 133. Morales, 6 for 69. And Davis, 6 for 57 on a night where Davis, Morales, and Quick were almost non-existent in that first half. Adam Okoye, 11 tackles. Jimmy Cash did have 11 tackles. He just didn't force any turnovers or make any big plays like that. 2 passes defended out of Adam Okoye, and Andrade had 7 tackles as well. But moving forward for Santa Fe, you've got Los Angeles. How do you view Los Angeles? How do you view your team's weaknesses heading into Week 9? Because the Sharks are playing some good ball right now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I don't know, we have to contain Hicho. We contained Black pretty nicely. I mean, at least he didn't score a 90-yard touchdown. That's a plus. But on Hicho, we have to do the same thing. We know that Marduk Mack, his name, right? Max.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good quarterback. Tree Feather and the rest of the defense, Ivan Mexon, is, in my opinion, the best corner in the league. So we just have to continue to play good ball, and we just have to take care of the football and force some turnovers, rather, because it's going to be a tough game against LA.
You've been here the last 3 seasons. You've seen a lot of talented teams roll through the SFL. I want to get your opinions on Louisville because that's one game that we haven't really talked about tonight. Louisville obliterates Carolina tonight, and I know that Carolina were heavy underdogs, but 48-6, I don't think that many people expected that. Is Louisville the best team in the SFL in history?
Yes. Yes, they are. And the reason why is because they do everything good. Season 4 Maulers maybe were the most dominant, but that's because they didn't run the football. The Wolfpack can run, can pass, they play defense, they sack the quarterback, they force turnovers, they make interceptions, and the smoke. It's all about the smoke.
Yes.
No, but they are.
Yeah, that smoke causes some trouble. Of course, now Louisville's still without a championship under their belt, and they've got NYC and Cleveland back-to-back road games. Obviously, Louisville's brunt of their schedule is gone now, so the potential to go 12-0. We'll see if anyone can trip them up. Teams are trying their best to trip you up, but somehow, some way, Santa Fe is now 7-1, and probably will be watching Sioux Falls and OKC quite carefully Thursday. As Sioux Falls tries to keep pace. Ramos, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and great call today.
All right, thanks so much. Open line 210-473-8428. Yeah, for the first time, I can't remember the last time I've had a close, energetic finish to an SFL game on my end, and man, it was fantastic. Tough for Houston, tough for Tallahassee to swallow. Tough night for the South Division, losing a couple devastating games. 8-6-5. You're on the SFL postgame show. Maurice, you there? Maurice, I have you?
1 second, sir.
All right.
Okay, now you have me.
All right. Do I happen to be on speaker? I'm not sure. I don't have you quite clear.
I'm in a study room.
Oh, okay. You sound a little better now. It's okay. Well, Maurice, where do we even begin tonight? Why don't you begin somewhere?
Well, turn the ball over 3 times. There's that. They killed us with some quick passes, and they just killed us with quick pass and deep pass, and we just got, when your defense is on the field that long, you eventually wear out. So I think that played a part into it. I feel like they were beating us early with the quick passes, but as the game went on, they started beating us more and more with the deep passes. So I think that's what happened.
I think that a lot of people would have said coming into the night that your advantage was on the ground. Louisville, worst run defense in the league. You, one of the top rushing offenses for Carolina in the league. But the problem is when you get down early like Carolina did, It becomes challenging to continue to run the football. In the first half, did you feel like Carolina still had opportunities that they just missed, or did everything just get blown up by Rick O'Reilly and the rest of that defense early, maybe more than Carolina anticipated?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think we did have chances. To, get the ball, push the ball down the field, but Rick O'Reilly is just Rick O'Reilly. So
Carolina's just gotta burn this film, right? I mean, you're 2-6, but you got Cleveland and Queen City next. In the Gray Conference, there's certainly no time to hang your head. You're still just a game and a half out of a playoff spot with 4 to go, and depending upon what NYC does, this week against Cleveland, you may still be just a game out of the final playoff spot. Is this something that the team can learn from, or is this something that the team just shouldn't even look at?
Something the team. I mean, you have to look at film from each game. So yes, it's a little bit of both. Like, one hand we have to learn from it. On the other hand, we have to put that loss in the back of our head and just move forward.
Defensively, Louisville did not, or defensively for Carolina, you made Louisville to a degree a bit more one-dimensional than they typically are in the passing game. Kirkland had 9 for 173 for 1 touchdown. He was the big factor. But Flynn Starbuck had 3 catches for 13 yards. D.D. Ritter, 3 for 23. Armstrong, 3 for 41. They really did not. They like to spread the ball out a little bit more evenly, and Carolina was at least able to stop that. But what made Kirkland such a difference maker tonight in your mind?
I think it's because Kirkland's been in this league the longest out of all those guys. Well, he's been in the league the longest out of all those guys. So his abilities have already been established.
Sure.
And I think once we started getting down and getting tired, he really started to take off.
This team was 5-7 last year, 2-6 this season. What's the number one thing that needs to be addressed, in your opinion, to turn it around?
Being more efficient on offense when it comes to passing the ball. Like, I've said this to my team many, many times, and we don't need Jameson to pass for 300, 400 yards in order to win a game. Our defense is pretty good, and we have a good passing, and we have a good rushing offense, but it's just one of those things where we need him to step it up because John English can't carry the team himself. We learned that last season. And with any good running back, you have to have a quarterback to complement him. Otherwise, you're not going to win any championships. And, we want to win championships here.
Maurice, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you, Kim.
I don't know how Skeletor P-Funk does not come away with a perfect quarterback rating tonight. 27 of 30. Let that sink in. 27 of 30 for Skeletor P-Funk tonight. 90% completions. And even 300 yards. 3 touchdowns, no picks, and he was not sacked. How is that not a perfect quarterback rating? And 2 of the 3 incompletions came back-to-back on a 3-and-out drive in the third quarter. I mean, that is something else. 585, you're on the SFL Postgame Show.
Hey, it's Matt Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, how you doing?
Sore, ego bruised badly. We were lucky to pull that one out for sure.
Well, and Farnsworth Bentley had your number there late in the fourth quarter too, but in the first half, it seemed like Quick just wasn't able to get open. You tried to hit him down the field even in the second half, and Noah Martin was there to step in front of it. How eventually did you get Nick T. Quick going?
We had to talk at halftime. We had to straighten a few things out. I was going left, he was going right, and I was throwing some bad balls, so it was more on me than on him. Luckily, it straightened itself out in the second half, and we managed to pull out a crazy win. I thought I threw it away with that interception late, but luckily I got my head back together, and I was able to drive us down and then drive us down again.
You're 7-1, but your last 3 weeks have been decided by 6 points or less. Does it matter?
I mean, we could have lost too, so it could matter. I think teams are smartening up, and we need to keep things fresh and make sure we're not doing the same thing every time. And I've got to keep my head on a swivel. I got whacked quite a few times, almost to that pick six at the end of the game. So, just got to keep sharp and keep adapting and keep going. Wins are wins, though, and I'll gladly take them. We got our fair share of losses last year by close calls ourselves. So.
Yeah, and I was about to say, after a season which sort of felt like a sabbatical for you, you have led game-winning drives, or game-winning or game-tying drives. Last week you led a game-winning drive with 27 seconds to go in the fourth, and this week you led a what would have been a game-winning drive with 1 minute and 3 seconds to go in the fourth. Obviously, you came to stardom in the SFL with the comeback against Carolina. And as you talk, I'm going to pull up some numbers from that Carolina game as well. But this is something that we got to start keeping track of these. How many comebacks each quarterback has in the SFL, because you got to be up at the top.
Well, better be at the top than at the bottom. These games are definitely intense, and you got to keep your head together and just forget about the last series, and just keep going. Try to make the best. Luckily, we seem to be a second half team when we're down, so I'd much rather be a second half team than a first half team. Unfortunately, Houston, I don't know, man. I don't know why they can't pull these out, because they should. But luckily we seem to be able to turn it on in the second half and pull out these wins. So
we got the stats.
Feel bad for.
Yeah, we got the stats up from the Carolina game. That was back on January 17th of this year. Can you believe that happened in 2016? It feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it feels like 3 years passed.
With 1 minute and 16 seconds to go, you threw a touchdown pass to Nick T. Quick. So we're talking about 3 drives in the last 2 minutes in your first 2 seasons of the SFL that you have led that either won the game or forced overtime. What's the secret?
Like I said, just stay calm. Always believe you can do it, and be smart. Sometimes you got to make a couple short passes before you can let loose the long one for the win. And last week that was the case, and this week, just like I said, I took too many deep shots in the first half, and I was getting picked, so I just started to methodically just throw out routes, little slants, try to just get some momentum going, because we just kept running into brick walls. Every time I just wound up and just hurled it to the sky, so that wasn't working. So gotta get a little bit more medium short passing game going, and the running game really helped, especially on the goal line. Those 2 touchdowns are huge. Those are field goals. We're toast.
How happy are you that you don't have to play Louisville this season? Against 2 gold corners tonight, Funk goes 27-30. That's unreal.
We'll play them in the championship.
Yeah. That would be the only way to play Louisville, and you would play them in the championship. Matt Wilson, quarterback for Santa Fe, your third, I believe, unless I'm missing some, fourth quarter comeback for the Gorillas. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we have to cut the post game off there because we've been going on here. It's been an excellent post game show. We got to run. We got a big slate of games to prepare for Wednesday night. Dallas, Baltimore, Orlando, Minneapolis, NYC, Cleveland coming up Wednesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And we're also counting down to the big State of the League address. It is 8 days away. Do not miss the State of the League address on Monday the 26th. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League. Again, final score: Santa Fe 37, Houston 34 in overtime. Los Angeles 30, Tallahassee 27 in overtime, and Louisville 48-6 over Carolina. I'm your play-by-play commentator, SFL Commissioner Kevin Irvine, saying good night from Mexico City, Mexico. See you Wednesday.